Good morning, everyone. Today I am here to present a seminar on the topic to study the common base characteristics of transistor. Myself, Karishma Rameshlal Panjwani, I am from BSc second year from Sri RLT College of Science, Akola. Here, objectives are at the end of module you will know about transistors, structure of bipolar junction transistor, operation of bipolar junction transistor and common base characteristics of a BJT, that is bipolar junction transistor. Let's see what is transistor. A transistor is a semiconducting device that can amplify electronic signals. This word transistor is the short form of two words transfer and resistor. From transfer the word trans is taken and from resistor the word ester is taken to form the complete word transistor. The concept of transfer of resistance gives the name transistor. Again, transistors are of two types, bipolar junction transistor and field effect transistors. Here we are going to see about the bipolar junction transistor. Let's see first of all what is BJT, that is bipolar junction transistor. A bipolar junction transistor BJT is a three-terminal device. It has three terminals. BJT is a bipolar device because it is operated on the flow of both the type of charge carriers, that is electrons and holes. It consists of the single crystal of semiconducting material which is suitably doped to produce three distinct type of regions, emitter, base and collector. Here these three parts represent emitter, base and collector respectively. Emitter is represented by E, base is represented by B and collector is represented by C. These BJTs are of two types, PNP and NPN. In PNP BJT, emitter is positive, base is negative and collector is positive. In NPN BJT, in NPN transistor, base emitter is negative, base is positive and collector is negative. Then three terminals of BJT are emitter, base and collector. Let me see in details. This is an example for NPN transistor. Here this N is negative, P means positive and N again means negative. Here majority charge carriers are electrons, so it is emitter. This middle region is base. Here last region is collector. The junction between emitter and base is known as emitter base junction and the junction between base and collector is known as the collector base junction. First of all, what is emitter? The emitter is heavily doped, having the moderate size. It is the source of majority charge carriers, either electrons or holes. Its main function is to supply majority charge carriers to base. It This emitter contains majority charge carriers. Here in NPN transistor, majority charge carriers are number of electrons, that is negative charge. So emitter contain the negative charge and it supply its majority charge carrier, that is electrons, to base. Then base. The middle layer of the transistor is called the base. This region is lightly doped. It is very thin region as compared to emitter and collector. This middle region is called as the base and here in NPN transistor base is positive. It is lightly doped as compared to emitter and collector. Now collector. The area of this region is slightly greater than that of the emitter region. Its main function is to collect the majority charge carriers from base. The large area of collector region prevents the excessive recombination of electrons and holes in base. The doping level of the collector is in between that of the base and emitter. See, this is the collector region. It contains the negative charge. Here it contains negative charge and always emitter and collector contains the majority charge carriers. The region of collector is greater than that of the emitter and base region. The main function of collector word is to collect the majority charge carriers and to prevent excessive recombination of electrons and holes in the base region. Now let me see the structure and circuit symbol of NPN and PNP transistor. In NPN transistor, P type of semiconductor is sandwiched between two N type of semiconductors. In PNP transistor, N type of semiconductor is sandwiched between two P type of semiconductors. In the symbol of NPN transistor, the arrowhead is from base to emitter. That is, the arrow is away from base. Here, an easy way to remember this is NPN transistor. It stands for not pointing in. In PNP transistor, in symbol, the arrowhead is towards the base and it is from emitter to base. Now, its application. In digital electronic applications, the transistors are used as a switch. Most bipolar switching circuits uses NPN transistors. Now, let me see about the operation of BJT, that is operation of bipolar junction transistor. It contains four regions: cutoff region, saturation region, active region and breakdown region. First of all, cutoff region. This is the cutoff region. Here, base emitter junction is reverse bias and base collector junction is also reverse bias. That means here no current will flow. As we know, in reverse there are two type of reasons: reverse bias and forward bias. In forward bias current will flow and in reverse bias current will never flow. So here both the junctions are in reverse biased, so no current will flow here. In cutoff region, its application is an open switch. Now saturation region. Here in saturation region, base emitter junction is forward biased and collector base junction is also forward biased. That means here current will flow. In active region, base emitter junction is forward active and base collector junction is reverse active, that is reverse biased. Now we see the breakdown region. Here in breakdown region, the collector current and collector emitter voltage exceed specification and can cause damage to transistor. That is, they exceed the specific value and that's why they cause damage to transistors. Now let me see about the common base characteristics of a transistor. We know that the common base characteristics are of two types: input and output. Let me see in details. Input characteristic. In input characteristics, there is a variation of input voltage with input current for constant output voltage. See, input voltage is VBE, that is base emitter voltage, and input current is emitter current, and output voltage is collector base voltage. Here, base, we are seeing the common base characteristic. So base is taken common to emitter and collector, both. In output characteristic, the variation is seen in output voltage and output current with constant input current. So here output voltage is VCB, that is collector base voltage, and output current is collector current, and at the constant input current, that is at constant input emitter current. Now let me see the procedure for BJT's input and output characteristic. First we see the procedure for input characteristics. Initially you have to set the rheostat RH1 to 1 ohm and RH2 rheostat to 1 ohm. Now we know that for input characteristics, output is voltage remains constant. Here output voltage is VCB, that is collector base voltage, and we set this collector base voltage to 1 volt by adjusting this rheostat RH2. Now there is a variation in input current and input voltage. So by moving this rheostat RH1, we note the emitter current. See, note the reading of emitter current in milliampere. Then we have to plot the IV characteristics of common base configuration. A graph is drawn between V, BE along x-axis and IE along y-axis. Then click on clear button and take another sets of reading. Now we have to set the collector emitter voltage constants for 2 volt, 3 volt and 4 volt respectively. See, if we do all this in virtual lab, then we get this type of experimental table, and this is the graph. See, as voltage increases, current also increases. But initially current was not increasing much, but after some time, as voltage increases much, then current will increase to its maximum. That is, here current goes on increasing from top to bottom. And we know by Ohm's law, R is equal to V upon I. That is, resistance is equal to voltage upon current. That is, R is directly proportional to voltage, but it is inversely proportional to current. R is inversely proportional to current. So here, as we are saying that input current is increasing from top to bottom. So as current increases, therefore resistance will be low. So input resistance is less for input characteristics. Now this is the procedure for output characteristics. Initially we have to set the rheostat RH1 to 1 ohm and rheostat RH2 to 1 ohm. Then for this input current IE must be constant by changing or adjusting this rheostat RH1. This we have to set for 1 milliampere emitter current. Now vary the collector base voltage by adjusting the rheostat RH2, then note the collector current IC. Then click on plot to plot the IV characteristics of common base configuration. A graph is drawn with VCB along x-axis and IC along y-axis. Then click on clear button to take another sets of readings. Now set the emitter current I to 2 milliampere to take another sets of reading. As we perform the procedure for output characteristic, we get this type of graph. See, as voltage increases, current increases to some extent, but it remain constant for higher values of voltages, and it will remain constant. In graph also you can see that as voltage increases, then current increases for a certain time. After that, even we are increasing voltage, then collector current will remain same. Now here voltage is going on increasing, and we know that by Ohm's law R is equal to V upon I. And here R is directly proportional to voltage. So here voltage is going on increasing, so output resistance will also increase. So we have seen before that input resistance is low and output resistance is high. See, these are the results. Input resistance was low, output resistance is high. Then as voltage gain, that means we have seen that R is directly proportional to V, V is increasing. Then R will also increase. So voltage will also high. Current remains constant for output, and it was nearly about 1 point something. So it is low current gain. Now let me see this in virtual lab. First of all, we see it input characteristic. We know that how to do this procedure. Initially, we have to set both the resistors to 1 ohm. Then we have to set the collector base voltage to 1 ohm. Collector base voltage to 1 volt by adjusting the resistant RH2. We have to make VCB collector base voltage to 1 volt. Now we have to vary the base emitter voltage by adjusting resistant RH1. This we have to vary. Then add a table. We should take 8 to 10 readings to get a proper graph for this. After making this experimental table, we will plot a graph. See here, as we increase emitter base voltage, then emitter current will also increase. This was all about input characteristics. Now let me see the how to plot the graph and experimental table for output characteristics. Here again we have to set the resistant RH1 to 1 ohm and resistant RH2 to 1 ohm. Here we have to make the input constant, that is input current IE, emitter current, to 1 ohm by adjusting this resistant RH1. And we have to make the changes in VCB by adjusting the resistant RH2 and note the corresponding reading, that is collector current. Again we will take here 8 to 10 readings to get a proper plot of graph. Just by changing this resistant RH2 value, we will change the voltage base to collector voltage. After getting 8 to 10 readings, plot a graph, and here you can see that this is the required graph for output characteristics. Here, initially as voltage increases, current also increases. But after certain value, as we increase the voltage, then also current remains same. That is current became constant. At this time we get the output resistance to a higher value. Let's back to our presentation. Here we get input resistance low, output resistance value high, voltage gain high and current gain low. That means you see the transistor, there is a change of value from low to high. See here, from input resistance to output resistance, value of resistance got increased from low value to high value. So this was all about transistors. Thank you for your unwavering attention throughout the presentation. Thank you once again.